I just felt a disturbance.
Well, we did have chili for dinner last night.
No, I just got this feeling that something strange is gonna happen.
What, in this house?
Wait, someone's coming. See, I knew something like this was gonna happen.
You knew Dad was gonna come in here looking like one of the Oak Ridge boys?
Huh? Oh, this. Do you like it?
No.
Aren't you even going to ask me why I'm wearing this?
No.
Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. I'm going to the Parade of Giants.
That thing where they parade a bunch of giant puppets down the street?
Isn't that Dallas?
We live within driving distance to Dallas.
No, we don't.
I mean, it depends how long you want to drive.
Don't try to talk me out of it. I've already made up my mind.
But why do you need a beard to watch the Parade of Giants?
And a wig, don't forget that.
This is just a reference to 19th century botanist Jillian Addie.
Of course, how could we miss that reference?
They made a huge puppet out of him. Some people call it the floating giant.
Are we supposed to be scared or something?
Well, he does have flowers for hands and wheels under his feet.
Terrifying.
You're not making us go to this thing, are you?
Yeah, I have a condition that prevents me from going to Dallas to watch giant puppet parades.
Well, fine then. That's just more giant floating puppets for me. Oh, and for your mom, too. I'm taking her along in case I get afraid of the giant floating puppets. Bye.
So, with Mom and Dad out of the house, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Get a keg of root beer and invite some friends over?
No.
Fill the entire house with Orbeez?
No.
Well, I'm fresh out of ideas.
With no one here to tell us what to do, I propose we spend the entire weekend doing nothing.
Ooh, that actually does sound pretty nice.
Although now that you mention root beer, I could go for a nice frosty mug right now.
It's in the kitchen. Go knock yourself out.
I'll just get the root beer and retain my consciousness. Dad, I thought you said you went to Dallas. There better not be any unauthorized individuals in this house. We have a padded baseball bat and we're not afraid to use it. Ah! The floating giant! Addie, the floating giant's in our house.
Well, we did have chili for dinner last night.
I'm serious, Addie. Something's out there.
Was it just Dad wearing his fake beard?
I think I know the difference between Dad and a floating giant.
Do you, though? Remember that one time you thought you saw a polar bear and it turned out to be Miska?
Well, yeah, but...
And remember that time you thought you saw a panther and it turned out to be Preston?
Well, yeah, but...
And remember that time you thought you saw Godzilla and it turned out to be Anya on her hind legs?
In my defense, I had been drinking a lot of coffee that day.
So why should today be different than any other day? I bet you just saw Dad on a skateboard.
With flowers for his hands?
He probably just picked some for Mom. You know how he's always trying to get her to like him?
They're married.
You know how insecure he can be.
Wait, I just got a message.
It must be great news because you look really happy.
Does this look like my happy face?
Well, who is it then?
It's Dad. He says they're still stuck in traffic, so that can't be him in the house.
Okay, let's not panic. Just because it's not Dad doesn't mean it's the floating giant.
Well, who could it be then?
One of the Oak Ridge boys?
Dad says the floating giant has gone missing.
I'll admit, this doesn't look good, but it still doesn't mean the floating giant's in our house.
Dad says it was last seen in our neighborhood, and people are advised to lock their doors and hide behind their couch.
I mean, we're sitting on a couch, and Dad surely locked the doors after he left, didn't he?
Dad says he totally forgot to lock the doors.
Thanks a lot, Bob!
So what should we do about the floating giant?
Look, all this so-called evidence of the floating giant is just circumstantial.
What about my eyewitness testimony?
We've already established that you're an unreliable witness. Do I need to remind you about the Godzilla incident?
Addie, you're not gonna believe me until you see it yourself, so just, go do that.
Fine. Jillian, I don't see any floating giant here.
Try calling out to him.
Fine. Hey, Mr. Giant, show yourself!
Anything?
No, because there never was anything.
Maybe he left for another house.
Or maybe my sister's just trying to scare me. Ah, the floating giant!
Well?
Nothing.
You seem like you're a little out of breath.
I was, exercising.
Exercising, huh? You sure you weren't, I don't know, running from a giant?
Fine, I was running from a giant.
So I was right, and you were wrong.
There's a first time for everything, Jillian.
Very funny. So what do we do about the giant?
What do I look like, the floating giant expert?
What did Dad say about this giant again?
I don't know, I wasn't really listening.
Let's see. Floating giant goes missing. Seen at the abandoned mall. Last seen at Jillian and Addie's house.
Wait, it really says that?
No, I made that last one up, but the other stuff's true.
Does it say why he has flowers for hands?
It's like Dad said, the giant's a tribute to a famous botanist.
I have an easier time believing in a floating giant than there ever being a famous botanist.
What about Willie Nelson?
That doesn't count. Does it say anything about how to defeat him?
Who, Willie Nelson?
No, the floating giant. Stop talking about Willie Nelson.
But I like talking about Willie Nelson.
You can talk about him all you want after we get rid of this floating giant thing.
What about stairs?
What about stairs?
This giant coasts on wheels, right? So he could theoretically just coast right on down the hallway to us, right?
Yeah, if someone gives him that idea.
But I bet he can't coast downstairs. He'd fall down and break into a million pieces.
Well, maybe not a million, but yeah, he probably would break.
So if we go downstairs, he won't be able to get us. Problem solved.
There's only one thing wrong with that solution.
What's that?
It stinks.
Oh no.
Jillian, to get to the stairs, we have to walk right past the floating giant.
But we'd be down the stairs.
He's blocking our only way.
That doesn't seem fair.
Fair has nothing to do with it. These floating giant guys play for keeps.
Maybe he just needs a friend. I bet Willie Nelson's a nice guy.
I said no more Willie.
Aww.
Look, maybe we can get past him and run outside and scream for help.
What about that door?
Dad welded that shut to keep out gutter helmet salesmen. You know how persistent they can be.
It sort of seems like that might be a fire hazard.
Look, let's just try to dodge past the giant with the flower hands. I bet he's hiding around the corner again.
Only one way to find out. Let's run for it.
It's jammed shut.
Dad says he locked the doors remotely so the giant couldn't get in.
Too little too late, Bob. No.
You were hiding, weren't you?
Down the stairs. Ha! You can't get us now.
Give him a chance, he could try.
We can stay down here for weeks if we have to.
Or at least until we run out of food.
So that's it? He just leaves as soon as it gets tough?
That is kind of disappointing from a narrative standpoint.
Jillian, look!
Ooh, that had to hurt.
He's dead.
Aw, and he just wanted to make friends.
I'm not staying down here. I guess we should call the authorities.
Yeah, they don't like it when you just leave dead bodies in your basement.
Wait, I hear someone coming.
Willie Nelson!
Oh no.